Yeah, Prime Minister, one of the reasons we're in the position we're in right now, one of the reasons the President decided to go to Congress and basically held back on going to Syria was because what happened in the British Parliament. The Labour leader, Ed Miliband, decided to oppose Prime Minister Cameron on this. Number one, I'm curious, where were you on this issue? Were you lobbying in either direction? And second, was it the right call?
Well, I was probably where you'd expect me to be, so I think our alliance with the U.S. is vital, and frankly, I think it was important we supported President Obama on it.
So you think one of your successors in the Labour Party made a mistake?
Look, you know, I know it's a very tough job being leader of the opposition. It's an even tougher job being Prime Minister, but there's no point in me hiding where I stand on this. I think what is important right across the region right now is that we grip these issues. You've got Syria, you've got Iran, you've got the Middle East peace process, you've got actually what's happening in Egypt, which is still fundamentally important for the development of the region. And what I think we need to do is to see this as one whole picture. And there are people out in the Middle East right now who are struggling against these forces of extremism and sectarianism. We've got to be with them, we've got to help them, and we've got to promote peace and stability across the region, and that means the UK and the US sticking in this together.
But very quickly, so you would have launched these strikes. You think the President should have done this?
No, I think what the President's done is perfectly understandable and right. He's wanted to, he's wanted to
but if the
get
UK
rid of the chemical weapons.
If there hadn't been the rejection in Parliament, then this probably would have happened. And so I mean, it sounds to me like you believe that's the way it should have gone, that we're not, we may end up with a result that you want, but this wouldn't have been the way you've done it.
Well, in terms of the UK Parliament, I would have been supporting sticking with the United States. I can't tell what difference that made to your debate. You're more in a position, Chuck, to say that than me, but I think what is important is to get the result now. So, there's been a lot of discussion about the elegance of the process and so on and so forth. That, to me, doesn't really matter. Both on Syria and on Iran, and indeed on the Middle East peace process, what matters is to get the result. If we get the result, we should all be happy.
You've raised the Middle East peace process a couple of times as being part of the holistic situation we face. How does this reverberate with what you're doing with the Quartet and Secretary Kerry on the Palestinian-Israeli peace process?
Look, I think what's very clear now is the Israeli-Palestinian issue is not the cause of all these upheavals across the region and so on. It's in one sense separate, but on the other hand, if you were able to make progress towards the two-state solution, a secure state of Israel, a viable state of Palestine, it would create a huge momentum of optimism across the region, and it would also solidify what I call the alliance of moderation and modernization against the forces of extremism that operate across the region to try to destabilize it, and as we see from even far afield in Nairobi, try to create terror and dismay and death right across the world.
And finally,